Okay, hi everyone, Daniel here. We're going to be doing something a bit different today. You're not going to be seeing my avatar or my face on the screen. Instead, you'll be looking at my keyboard with my fingers on it sometimes. Because I want to talk about text editors today. Well, actually, I just want to talk about one text editor, which is Vim. This is my favorite text editor. So what I want to do today is I want to give you a background on Vim, like what it is. I'm going to give you a bit of demo, show you why I like it, and then I'm just going to put some resources there for you to learn on your own if you feel interested. Um, so the slides, you can find the slides on the address that's on the title there. It's on slides.com. So I'm not going to teach you Vim today. The slides will be there with some resources that you can follow on your own time, because it's just not possible to teach you Vim in like 30, like even 1 hour. It won't be enough. I'll just show you things that I can do with it, and hopefully that will interest you enough so that you'll learn on your own. Okay, so now talking about Vim history, this is a text editor that's been around for a long time, like the 70s. That's almost 50 years ago now. So it is available still in every version of Linux or Unix machine. But if you think about back in the 70s or 80s, like computers are not as sophisticated as what we have now. If you see the machine there, you pretty much have a monitor and a keyboard, and they connect to a stronger machine. They connect to a mainframe computer. They don't even have a mouse until the 80s, and the picture that you have there is a picture of a very old mouse, like in the 70s. So it wasn't a very common device. And I don't know for this. I don't know these for a fact, by the way, because I wasn't alive back then. But if you want to communicate to the server, then you really have to communicate using a keyboard. Okay, so there's no clicking around. There's no moving your mouse around to go to different lines. For example, you can't copy and paste. You can't highlight. So they must have a system to do all this, all the things you can do with the mouse. They must have a system that can emulate that. Okay, and Vim or VI at that time was the solution that they have. So why am I talking about a text editor which is like 50 years old? Well, because you can still pretty much find it everywhere these days. Like I said, you still find them in Linux machines, you still find them in Unix servers. You actually do need to know this if you do something like hacking. It's very good if you know Vim. And also these days you can find Vim pretty much in every IDE or text editor, like Atom, Sublime, IntelliJ, Visual Studio Code. It's so easy to install. For example, here I think I have Visual Studio Code. Okay, so here let me show you how to install Vim on Visual Studio Code. Alright, I'll just go to extensions. I'll type Vim. It says here Vim 1.16, Vim emulation for Visual Studio Code. Click on install, and I think I'm done. Do I need to restart? Nope. Let me just check if I actually have Vim now. Oh, oops. Go to files. Yep, I have Vim, and I'm done. So that's how long it takes to install Vim on your machine. Well, on Visual Studio Code anyway. If you're using like IntelliJ or Eclipse, just Google on how to do it. I'm sure very, very easy to do so. Okay. So, just a little aside here. There used to be a holy war between people who use Vim and people who use Emacs. They didn't seem to like each other. I don't know if it's still ongoing. Probably is. But just be aware that there are other text editors out there. I'm not saying Vim is the one text editor that you should use. I'm just going to show you why I like it, but it's really up to you what you want to use, obviously. Yeah, so Emacs is the other popular text editor way back when. Probably still is now. But we're just going to be talking about Vim, obviously. There's like a link here to the Wikipedia for Editor War if you want to know more about it. So why am I using Vim? Why do I like Vim? Number one, because it's powerful. It can do a lot of stuff. It can be extended to do many things. Well, at the very least, it can do regex. It can do macros. And number two is very, very fast. Well, maybe that's actually the first reason why I like it. Now, it might be kind of funny talking about speed when it comes to text editors. But so what I mean by fast is that I can edit a document quickly. Like, it's fast for me to edit document because I hardly ever have to use the mouse when I do so. Okay, you're gonna see this. You're gonna see why that's the case. It's almost sorry. It is also available almost everywhere. You can. I mean, every text editor I use seems to support Vim. So, well, this so it doesn't matter what environment I work in. I can be assured that I have access to Vim. Then I can use all my keyboard shortcuts that I've learned. Okay, and finally, apparently, it's super hard to learn. It's not. So if that's your thing, yeah, you can get some brownie points. Like, you can be the geeks among the geeks, the one geek to rule them all, that kind of stuff, if you really care about that. Alright, because Vim, yeah, it has a reputation of being hard, being like obscure. But really, this video is to show you that really it's not that hard to get started on Vim. Okay. Now, when students encounter Vim for the first time, they normally get a bit confused because they can't seem to do anything. I'll show you what I mean. You're probably going to see Vim. You're probably going to encounter Vim if you do a unit like COM2100, where you have to connect to the Unix server. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a file using Vim from the command line there. File is opened, and I'm going to try to type hello world, I guess. I'm going to be pressing H, and nothing happens on the screen. And why? Well, Vim is different to other text editors because Vim has two different modes. One is called the edit mode, and the other one is called the insert mode. When I'm in the insert mode, then whatever character I type is going to be shown on the screen. So I think let's actually use VS Code because it's easier to show things using VS Code. Okay, if I type I will actually go into the insert mode. You can see bottom left here, there's the word insert. Now here, whatever I type is going to be shown on the screen. So if I type hello world, there it is, hello world. Okay. I can go to the other mode by pressing escape. Escape, back, let's go back to normal now. Now in this mode, every key that I press issues a command to Vim. Now, earlier we tried to press H and nothing seemed to happen. I'm gonna press H again. Well, you can now see that the cursor is moving to the left. Okay, so probably one of the most difficult things to learn about Vim when you first start out is to get used to this idea of moving around using H, J, K, and L. Okay, so again, when you first start off Vim, it's going to start off in edit mode. You can't type anything, right? And you have to press I to actually go inside insert mode when you can start typing things. But when you're in edit mode, you can actually move around using H, J, K, L. And again, as I said, this is probably the hardest thing about Vim. See me, I'm moving up using K, I'm moving down using J, moving to right using L, moving to the left using H. Now, why do you want to do this? Why not use the arrow keys, right? Well, the reason is because if I'm using H, J, K, L, I don't have to move my hand that much, right? As in, well, actually don't have to move it at all, I just stay there, right? But if I move my hand to the arrow keys to move around, I'll have to spend like some effort to put it back in the right place again. I mean, I just find it faster to stick with HJKL anyway. And this is the system that they devised, because I guess back then keyboards probably don't have the arrow keys either. You probably only have like the characters. So yeah, that's one reason why I like Vim. Might be a strange reason. So you might argue that yeah, you have to press escape key to switch between modes. So isn't pressing escape key, you have to move your isn't that difficult because you gotta move your left hand up? well, I kind of get used to it by now. I guess it's like playing guitar. Like if you play guitar, you have to put your fingers in very funny positions, and eventually you just get used to it. You can argue the same thing about the arrow keys, but well, I mean, small matter in my opinion. Yeah, you can map the escape key to something else as well. Like some people use the caps lock, for example. So that's to change modes, which is alright. You can do that with Vim for sure. But anyway, that's the very basic of Vim. So I mean, meaning that if you ever do COM 2100 or some other units where you try to open up the text editor, you try to open up Vim, and you don't know how to get out, well, now you do. Okay, if you just want to edit document, if you just want to edit the document, just press I and start typing. It'll work like a notepad. Okay. If you want to save, you have to go back to its edit mode, press escape, then you press :W, and then you press :Q to quit. So let's do that on VS Code. I'm in edit mode now. I press colon, and you see at the bottom here, I should change it to into a colon, and I can say I can press W, enter, and that just wrote the file, just saved the file. Okay, that's what W is, write the file. Okay, that's is like enough to get you started on using Vim. Doesn't tell you anything about why Vim is good. Okay, but that's enough for you to type something using Vim, like something very simple. So let's move on. Let's do more interesting stuff with Vim. Okay. So as I mentioned before, to go to insert mode, you can use I, to press I. You can also use A. So the difference is if you press I, your cursor is going to be placed before the character, and if you press A, your cursor is going to be placed after the character. Small matter, but it can be useful sometimes. So if I press A, when I insert something, it's going to be after the D there. Sorry, so just to be clear, I'm putting my cursor on D, the character D there on line 12. If I press A and start typing, let's say I type XXX, right? The XXX will be entered after the D. Okay. If I type I, insert, and then type XXX, it's going to be inserted before the D. Okay. You can also insert new line easily by pressing big O or small o. So here I'm in edit mode. I'm going to insert a new line above line 10. Okay, I just press capital O and done. Insert your line here. Okay, so the same way I can insert a new line after that line using small o. Just press small o, boom, hello, it's there. Okay, so those just inserting new line, I found that if I'm using a notepad or I'm using like some other text editor, that's actually annoying to do. So if I want to insert a new line normally, what I have to do is I have to move the cursor up to the end of the previous line, right? Then I press enter. Or if I want to put a new line above the current line, I have to move to the beginning and then press enter. So just being able to just the fact that I can go to edit mode and say, oh, insert new line and next insert a new line and next one, or insert a new line before it, that's really fast. That's really easy. I find that to be great. Okay. You can also move between lines very easily in Vim. Well, you can also do this in many text editors, but in Vim the command is you want to go to line 1, so you just type the line number. Let's say I want to go to line 100. I just type 100, then I press G twice, GG, like go, right, up to line 100 there. I want to go to line 8, okay, 8, go, I'm on line 8. Okay, I understand you can probably do this with Control L and then typing the line number, but you can do this with Vim as well. Okay, next one. Let's do something a bit more advanced now. Moving lines of code around. So, let's say I want to move the line 11 to another line. How would you do this using a normal text editor? You probably have to highlight that, press Ctrl X to cut. Oh, sorry, I can't actually do it here because this is Vim. To cut, and then you go to another line, you click on it, and you press Ctrl V to paste. Now with Vim, if you want to delete an entire line from the edit mode, you just have to press D twice. So move it down a bit. Yep, DDP. So there's actually two different commands. DD will delete the line. So line 12 there, gone. Right? P will paste the line. So when you delete a line, when you delete any text, it goes to buffer, it goes to your clipboard. Okay, and pressing P will just paste whatever is in the clipboard. What do we have next? We got moving lines of code. Now, cool thing about Vim is that you can put a number in front of the command to do the command multiple times. So you have actually seen that with the moving between lines. Because I want to go from line, let's say I want to go to line 100, I just type 100 and then type GG. I'm actually calling the GG command 100 times, if you think about it that way. Okay, so GG will actually bring you to line 1. So if I type 100 GG, it's like saying go to the line, go to, actually I don't know how that works, but it's just like do it 100 times. So I end up in line 100. So if you want to delete 5 lines, let's say line 1, I want to delete 5 lines, then just type 5 DD, 5 DD, boom, 5 lines gone. Okay, and to me, I find this to be faster than just like using a mouse to highlight and then moving things around. I just find that I just find using Vim to be much faster, and I do this a lot when I'm coding. Like I move lines a lot. So let's say I delete these 5 lines, and I just want to put it down here. Boom. Like you see how many keystrokes I need to do that. Like just let's delete this 6DD down, done. Okay, I can probably do it faster, but that's just an example. You can also copy lines of code instead of like deleting. Alright, I can go yank. So the command for copying is YY, yank, yank, as in grab, yank. So here I'm gonna go 5YY, and that it says down here 5 lines yank. So I got right now 5 lines of code in a buffer, and I can go anywhere to paste it. Let's just paste it down there. There you go. The cool thing about this is that that line is still in your buffer. So if you want to, I can actually do this. I can actually let me say I can yank that line 103, yank it, and then paste. And if I keep on pressing P, it's just gonna keep on pasting it, because that's the command, right? Which is kind of cool. If you can pretty much like copy one line and go to many different lines and then paste that line, just pressing P every time. You probably don't want to do that, but hey, you can. What else can we do? Moving around. So this is something I can do with other text editors for sure. Let's say you're in the middle of the text, like in the middle of the line here, line 100. I want to move at the start of the line. Easy, I just press Shift 6, like the hat symbol. Okay, I want to move to the end of the line. Just press Shift $. So Shift 4, sorry, there. Okay, and something else interesting. In Vim, you can move between brackets. So here I have an open bracket on line 122. And I want to go to the corresponding closing bracket. How do I do that? Just press the % sign, Shift 5. Yep. So I found that to be useful, especially with the brackets thing, because sometimes it's hard to know where the brackets actually end. Um, you can also do this using, sorry, you can also do this with HTML tags, although I'm not sure if it works on this one. Yeah, it doesn't work. I have to install some plugins, or I have to set up something to make sure that works. But the ability to go between opening brackets and closing bracket is very, very useful, I find. Of course, it doesn't work with just like curly brackets. It works with, let's say, square brackets. Let's say I put a square bracket there, and let's put the corresponding end there. Yeah, I'm just gonna flip between those two. Okay. Yeah. So moving around like that, like end of the line, beginning of the line, between brackets, I find those to be useful. And the cool thing is, I'm not sure if I say it here. Yeah, I did. You can combine the stuff that you learned before, like deleting and yanking. You can combine that with the dollar sign, the hat, and the percent sign. So what I mean by that is, I'm in the middle of the line, and I want to delete to the rest of the line. I just go D dollar sign. Sorry, I'm on line 122. Probably should make this bigger. That's probably a good idea. Sorry. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay. Yep. Okay. So show that again. I'm on. Let's say I'm up here on that, and I want to delete until the start of the line. Just press D and hat. Done. Okay. Something which I did not have here. Sorry, I don't have it. Yeah, I forgot to write it on the list here. But something that I've been doing again and again is undoing my last change, like Control Z. Well, it's not actually Control Z in Vim, it's actually U. So if I do something like I delete that line and I don't want to do it, I have to press U. The cool thing about U is that Vim actually remembers the history, like it has a history of the changes that you've made in the document. So if you keep on pressing U, right, you'll keep on changing stuff until the beginning. See, like a while ago we typed hello world and we deleted it. So yeah, you can keep on pressing U to go back in the past, and you can, in reverse, you can also type Control R redo to redo everything that you've done. I mean, as long as you have one straight timeline, you should be fine. As in, well, obviously if you undo something and then you do something else, then the old redo will be gone. I mean, if you change the history, then well, of course, I mean, the future will be different as well, obviously. Yeah, I don't think I'm saying that very well, but I hope you get the idea. But anyway, U and Control R, like undo and redo, they're very useful. As you can see, I use it a lot. Delete something, undo something, redo something. Yeah. What else can you do? Visual mode. Vim. You can still do highlight and stuff in Vim. So let me do that here. So let's say you don't know how many lines you actually want. I can actually press V. Okay. Then I'm going to move the cursor down using J. And that highlights stuff. And once this is highlighted, you can do a few things. You can do, I did not have it there, sorry. You can press Y to yank it, as in you copy it. Copy, right? Right. You can also press X to delete it. Not D, actually, X. Alright, so yeah, so there's a bit of copy paste thing that you can do. You don't have to use the mouse for it. You can just keep your fingers on the keyboard all the time. What else can you do? Repeat last action. Okay, so can't think of a good example for this right now, but let's say I type hello world. Okay, so the last action I did was that I press insert I and then I type hello world. Well, actually I type O to make a new line and then insert. So if I want to repeat that, I can just press dot. So dot would just repeat whatever you did last again. We're gonna use this again a bit. I'm going to show another use for this later. It's going to be very useful, I think. But yeah, those are the things you can do with Vim so far. What else do we have? We have change a word, change a character, and delete a character. Okay, so back to editing. I can change the word. What's that mean? Well, okay, let's say you have the variable here, global ID, and you want to change global ID to, I don't know, local ID, for example. And you're in another text editor. What do you have to do? You probably go to the end of global ID, you go backspace like that, and you type local ID. Okay, so I know it's a small thing, but with Vim, you can issue command. The command is change word, CW. So I press CW, and actually deletes the word, and I can type whatever I want. I'm in insert mode now, so I can just type global whatever like that. And I can do this multiple times. Like, so here, I want to delete like, let's say, 5 words. Right? I go 5 CW, and 5 words disappear, and I'm in insert mode. Okay, so again, that is faster than me having to like highlight everything I want to delete, and then replacing it, or God forbid, like if you actually press backspace to delete all the words, that's really bad. You can also delete words using DW. Like remember, like DD deletes a whole line. The dollar sign delete until the end of the line. The hat delete until the start of the line. So DW, delete words, will just delete the word. Okay, and of course you can combine that with numbers. So let's say I want to delete 5 words, like that, 5 DW, like that. Okay. You can also change the character or delete character. Don't know if you find this useful. I actually do. You just want to change one character without going to insert mode. So I just say I want to change that O to 0. I'll press R and then I'll press 0, the character I want to change to. Oops, I missed that. Yep, gullible. I want to delete the character. Yeah, sure. Just press X. So get your cursor on top of the character and press X. Just delete it. Yep. So just small things. Yeah, like does it really make that much of a difference compared to using a normal text editor? You're probably saving like 0.1 second, 0.2 seconds. But if you do this like hundreds and hundreds of times or thousands of times, you'd be saving minutes. But I just find it's nice to do anyway because I'm just so used to it. Right. So you might not think much of it now, but it's just small things that just makes Vim greater. Changing indentation. How do you do that with a normal text editor? You would go, well, I guess it's easy. You just go there and you press tab, right? And with other text editor, you can just highlight the whole thing, and you can press tab. Like you can move everything, all the lines at the same time. You can do that with Vim as well. I can go to visual mode, say, and I can press the right arrow. Well, sorry, the closing angle bracket, like I don't know what to call it. This symbol here, to move all the lines to the right. So shift that. Yep. If you want to do it multiple times, just put a number in front of it. I want to put 5 tab to the right, 5 that, done. Okay. You can also use the dot to repeat the last command. So for example here, I'm going to move 2 lines to the right. I'll just keep on pressing dot here. It's going to keep on moving to the right. Okay. What else? There's search and there's replace. This one I seem to do a lot. I'm not sure whether this is good practice or not, but how do I what do I do? Let's say I want to modify node size. I have a variable called node size. I want to modify that into something like, let's say I want to change that to local node size. So if I refactor it like that, I probably have to look for node size in the rest of the document. If you want to search anything, you can use / and then type whatever string you want to search. You can actually put regular expression there as well if you want. Okay, but now let's just say I want to look for node size, and immediately you can see that the cursor moved to the next occurrence of node size. I can press N to go to the next occurrence. Right? See how I move the cursor to the one on the right. Next one, next one, next one. Okay, I can press Shift N to go to the previous occurrence, and so on. Right? So what I sometimes do, which is probably not a good practice, let's say I want to change everything from node size to local node size. So I look for node size. Okay, then I go type CW and I change that to the local node size. Then I press N to go to the next one and just press dot. Why? Because like dot, the last command that I issued was change the word from node size to local node size. So if I press dot on a word, it's just going to change that word into local node size. I mean, I can do this on any word. Let's say that word passed there, I press dot, I just change that into local node size. Right? So getting a bit more complicated here, but I hope this is all still very simple. What else can you do? Well, this is the proper way of doing a search and replace. Okay, this is actually a very powerful regular expression thing that you can do with Vim. I don't want to go explain it, to be honest, but let's say I want to change every word container into section. I would go colon %s container section G. Yeah, this is just an introduction, so I don't want to tell you exactly how this works, but if I do that, you can see that these two containers should be modified to section. Okay, so undo that. And finally, oh, I like this one. This is something I use a lot. Jump points. You can put markers on your document. So let's say HTML here. Let's say this is a all-in-one HTML, which is not something you should do. But I have here the CSS section. So I'm gonna put a marker here. I'm gonna press M followed by C. MC. Okay. So that will record C to be this this line here, line 42. Okay. Then I'm gonna do my stuff elsewhere. Let's say I'm doing stuff here. Let's say I'm active here. So I'm going to type MA. So I'm gonna store this location into A. Then let's say I'm at the bottom, add markers. Okay, let's say this is another place. Windows onload. I'm gonna say put this as a MO. Okay, so now I have 3 memory locations stored. Sorry, 3 markers, not memory locations. 3 markers stored in this document. I can go to any marker using tilde followed by the marker name. So if I want to go back to the CSS section, I just type tilde C. And I'm back to where the CSS started. Right? I want to go to the active code. I just press tilde A. Okay. And it actually remembers, it doesn't remember the line, it actually remembers the code. So if I go to the CSS, and let's say it was line 42, right? And I put a bit stuff there, like I put like I don't know, let's just copy this many times. Okay, that's a mess. But anyway, then I'll say, oh, then I'll move around. Then I want to go back to the start of CSS, which was memory location C. I just go C. And I mean, it's line 63 now, but that was the we put a marker on that line, not that line number, but on that line, so I can always go back to it no matter if I have edited my document. Yeah, so it's more powerful than just remembering the line number. Okay, um, so that's probably enough demonstration from me. Um, I'm not going to all these commands, but if you liked, I put some commands that I often use in Vim in the next few slides. So Vim, I wrote it there. Don't expect to be good in Vim in just days or weeks or even months. I mean, I probably spent more than a decade using Vim by now, and I don't think I'm nowhere near good with Vim. There are people who do a lot more amazing stuff with Vim. Um, but if you persevere, if you use it often, it's just like playing a piano or learning like guitar or whatever, right? The more you use it, the better you're gonna be, and I'm pretty sure you're just gonna be able to type code faster if you do that. But I also have another proviso here, like a disclaimer. I think learning to type fast is better than learning Vim. If you want to code fast, you want to type fast. So for that, well, I'll leave it for you to look for like the resources online, like that teaches you typing fast. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's some resources there that you can look at. There's an online Vim tutor on openvim.com. Basically, show you what it is. It is. It's an interactive Vim tutorial that will teach you the basics of Vim. Okay. As you can see here, these are commands that I don't actually use. Actually, find a character, F, V, F. Yeah. So I'm sure even I can learn something from this tutorial. There's also a cheat sheet which has a list of all commands. You can also use this presentation, I guess. Like I put some stuff there that you can look at. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Again, I'm just showing you Vim. This is a text editor that you can use. This is my favorite text editor. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, well, don't worry. There are lots of other text editors. And yeah, hope that was useful. Thank you.